It's high-speed business at a record pace.
Get 70 miles per gallon on this fucker. This is ship that made a castle.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Who does the camera cut to first? Who's the winner of this
Who's
round?
gonna win?
Let's go. Formula One. Dang it. This is a new game. Who gets the camera cut to them first? I don't think it's even cutting to me at all.
No.
Is my camera on? This is the worst.
I think it was.
Well, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Well, Henry says, "Here we go."
Yeah, here we go. There we go. Welcome to the Fast Ones. My name is Max. We're talking about motorsport, and I got Mike with me, as always,
I'm always
holding
here.
the podcast down.
Yeah.
Dude, we're stoked. In case you didn't know,
Yeah.
the footage from our intro was
Finally.
not from the F1 movie.
No,
it is
it
from
wasn't.
actually us at that same race in Daytona that Bradley Pitts was at.
Yeah, our debut of a cinematic debut is you can go see it in theaters, but you could have seen it for the last year plus.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's been in the intro of our show.
Yeah. There are some really, really, really wide shots of that opening race of F1 where you can point to us in the crowd.
You might see us. It's a little dark.
Trust us.
Just us. We were there.
We're there.
We were there.
We're there. Hey, kick things off. Honest. Okay, so today, we're going to be talking about F1 the movie.
I already put it in the title.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises.
No
I was
surprises
going to hold
here.
off and make a joke like, let's talk about the race. And when I meant the race that Brad Pitt was in.
Bradley Pitts.
Yeah, it was in.
Box, Pitts.
It was great.
It was good.
We're going to talk about the race, maybe talk a little bit about the real F1 race.
Yes.
But to start things off,
I noticed you had a bout.
I know you probably could guess what's in here, but this is for the podcast.
Maybe I can guess what it is actually, and this is very funny if it is, because didn't you already joke about this?
I don't know if I already joked about
I
it.
feel like we joked about it last week.
Okay, yeah. Dude, open this up. We can maybe display this on the podcast.
I am ripping with a knife, ASMR. Oh, yes. Did you see how close I got to cutting myself?
Yeah.
This is an emo podcast now.
Ooh, what is it?
Here we go.
Nice.
I don't want to lose my mind. I don't want to lose myself.
Dude, this...
I don't know why it cut to me dancing rather than where the music was coming from.
Honestly, if you have not seen the movie, the soundtrack is killer.
It's so good.
It's killer. And we made fun of it. I mean, maybe I just was joking about it on my own.
No, we made fun of it last week.
I know that there was like artists on this that were being shown like a month in advance. Like, these are the artists on F1 soundtrack. And I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
But the movie came out and knocked it out of the park. Do we need something to hold this up?
Yeah. Henry says we should have snuck some footage of Babe 2 Pig in the City into the intro of our show. And I don't disagree with him. That's underrated.
Yeah, if anything, it should either be Driven or Condor Man.
Driven will get talked about. It is the parallel that everyone seems to be talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because this was the movie Sylvester Stallone wanted to make.
It really is.
And he didn't get any of the permissions to do
didn't
any
get
F1
anywhere close
races.
to making this movie.
But holy cow. Man, that song that I was just playing.
Yeah.
I'm just as bad as I used to be.
It's so good.
Oh gosh.
It's so
That is-
great.
I have been playing it on repeat.
It's funny. We were
since the movie.
It's funny. We talked about Chris Stapleton last week because we talked about artists that were songwriters that weren't like handsome enough to make it.
And that's how you know they're good songwriters. Because
Exactly.
if they're good enough to be on like radio or on like award shows, but they're not handsome,
Yeah.
you know they're good at what they do.
Or like tattooing their faces just to be able to be like, I'm Post Malone.
Yeah.
I'm Jelly Roll. I'm Hershey's Kisses butt.
He's my favorite.
Yeah. How many artists though that are all like face tats right now?
For sure.
There's a lot.
It's a trend.
It is for sure.
But if they do that and they're famous. You know why? They're
Right.
making good music
Because they're doing something.
for sure.
Right.
Oh man, real quick though. So that song, KK. So here's the
Good. You got the right number of Ks this week.
here's the song "Bad as I Used to Be" intro. Does it remind you of another song?
I
This
mean,
is another song that it reminded me of. "Miss You" by the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
I almost thought it was during the movie. I thought, did someone cover this? Just bluesy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're different. They're very different.
They're very
but the
different,
Riff,
but
the groove
the-
was like in the pocket.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is. Did they remake the song? No.
It was a good move to kind of mimic that song, though. If we're honest,
Oh, for sure.
definitely a good pick.
Oh, I don't even know where to start. The
Uh,
F1 movie was the best movie this year.
It was. Here's
I do not know of another movie that could even compete from Hollywood this year.
right. No, I think that's for sure fair.
Snow White,
yeah.
Lilo and Stitch,
Yeah.
and F1 the
It's
movie.
just Disney versus Apple, apparently.
Yeah.
But-
It's the biggest box office opening for Brad Pitt ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's crushing it right now.
That is actually
and
an
it makes
insane
sense.
statistic.
The movie was so good.
It was
and
great.
so fun.
Okay, so I feel like there's a few things that I'm like,
Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about the F1 movie.
yeah, if you didn't read it in the title.
Yeah.
It's
And we
for
might
sure
talk
gonna be
about
talked about.
anything we want to talk about. And if there's spoilers, then you've been
There you go.
warned.
It was taking a second to cut to Max. There you are.
Yeah, you've been warned. Spoilers, but it's gonna be worth it.
I might
Also,
have
go see
crossed the
movie.
hairs on our HDMI cables this week because there was a small camera mishap. So
Okay.
if it does cut to the wrong person, I apologize.
No worries.
But here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay, let's break this down into a score categories
Okay.
of like things that you care about in a movie.
Yeah.
So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think your popcorn intake was like while you watched the movie? Compared to other movies, where does this fall on a scale of 1 to 10?
A 10.
A 10. Okay, so you were just like furiously eating.
I wasn't eating popcorn.
Oh, that's right. I was sitting next to you.
Yeah.
I should have known that already. Okay.
But if I had popcorn and if I was eating carbs,
yeah.
would have had tons of popcorn.
Okay, all right.
Still slimming down for the ladies out there. Also, I've been trying to find that freaking F1 popcorn bucket helmet.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
Been to multiple theaters.
Yeah.
And haven't found it yet. If I had that, would have been eating a lot of popcorn.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well then let's move on.
Okay.
Scale of 1 to 10. Henry said, or even Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones, which also very similar opening.
Oh,
riff
yeah.
to- yeah. Good point. And Kyle Marlin, thank you for checking in.
Checking in. Kyle
And,
Marlin.
taking attendance is still required.
Yeah.
On this podcast.
I mean, in terms of like grades and good grades and attendance, Kyle
Yeah.
Marlin's probably number
yeah,
one.
we've got a few people who've got demerits. Sam's got a few demerits.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to go to detention.
detention.
He's
Which
got-
is go and watch all of our shows.
He's gonna have to go backwards. Kevin and Sam are both in detention.
Do your homework.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
We already know that you're gonna probably score 10 out of 10
On
on the
everything.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
What do you think on like dialogue?
Dude, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay.
I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, no,
But my initial thoughts was, I thought it was great. Like, for instance, the scene in the pub where he's talking with the technical engineer.
Yeah.
And he has a crush on her.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his relationship with Ruben, his like buddy that got him on the team.
Yeah.
The dialogue's so great because he's like, what do you think of Ruben? We're like, your friendship with Ruben. He's like, oh, he's great. He's amazing. He had told me you asked if I was married. He's disloyal. Like, the conversations were great.
They
I
flowed
loved
well,
it. They
right.
flowed really well. Like, yeah, just a little bit of dialogue, like when Ruben is yelling at the FIA guy who's like taking all their like car
he's
away.
like- he's like, "I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Come back. Like, I was like, yeah, like
It's so real.
I freaking loved it.
It's
Yeah.
so real.
A lot of good moments for sure. And I loved like the breakdowns before the races. I was just like, yeah, like the dialogue is great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I will say, and I'm giving this a pass because there were moments in the film where the commentators over the broadcast system during the race
Right,
were
right.
very instructional on what F1 is.
Yeah, totally.
They're like, and he's going to open up drag reduction system, which will give him, and it's like,
Yeah.
he explains all DRS while it's happening in the movie. And
Right.
I think, you know what, they kind of do this live, but not to this extent. But also,
Right.
they're shooting for the big audience around the world who haven't seen F1.
Right.
But they're also trying to cater to all the hardcore F1 fans. So,
Yeah.
So I'm going to be very forgiving at the fact that, like, oh yeah, my mom took my mom. She had a blast, and it was fun to watch this almost like a midnight showing with my mom.
It was I got home so late.
So late, but it was great.
But I was jazzed the whole drive home.
Yeah.
I was like
And my
rocking
mom
out to the freaking
Oh,
songs.
heck
and
yeah, I
everything.
could not stop playing it.
Yeah.
And my mom loved the movie. And you need to cater for the people like my mom who haven't watched a race
Right,
and
right.
just want to see a fun movie. And people like me who are like very into F1 and want to see a fun movie. So it's
Totally.
like, thought the dialogue nailed both sides of it.
Cool. Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like the things that I kind of like was the most hopeful for in this movie was being able to say like Drive to Survive is so critical
Yeah.
to what F1's become. And we've all grown accustomed to being berated online for being a DTS fan.
Oh, yeah, I'm a DTS fan.
For having an opinion on the sport,
Yeah.
which, you know, sorry that good documentary storytelling TV shows are a diss.
Are successful
And
in
like-
bringing people to the sport.
Yeah, and then you turn it around on Americans like, you guys are so stupid, you don't know anything, it's Netflix and blah, 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 blah. So outside of my internal insecurities that
Yeah.
I have just manifested,
Yes.
no, like the thing that's funny about like Drive to Survive is that it's been an easy target for criticism for long-term fans.
Uh-huh.
It's this thing that's like, oh man, they over dramatized this, and Zach Brown feeds into it by being like, yeah, they're friends off the track, but when they're on the track, they're bitter rivals.
Yeah.
And it's like, Carlando, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like everyone saw through it, right?
Yeah.
But with the F1 movie, I felt like I walked out of there going, I don't know. It was really fun.
It was really fun.
I walked out of there as hyped as I've ever walked out of a movie. Like, that was really great.
So great. Yeah.
So entertaining. There are flaws as a movie guy, as an editor, as someone who's been involved in media. Do I wish that the movie had ended a little quicker, that they got to the punch of some of those like closing out moments
Yeah.
a little better? Sure.
Yeah.
Didn't matter though. By the time I'm there at the
Yeah.
movie, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah,
it was
just
so good.
Strap in and have a fun ride
Right.
with Brad Pitt in an F1 car. I think like if you are mad at this movie for not being like super, super authentic, which it's very good at showing F1,
Yeah.
it nails it.
It nails it.
But like if you are like more of a purist, watch Drive to Survive. Like watch a documentary about Formula One because this has to be dramatized because it has to be entertaining.
It's a movie.
And also, like, if you're thinking that this movie is Heat or like Taxi Driver or The Godfather, like, doesn't hold up to like some of the best movies of all time, like, it's not supposed to.
No.
It is meant to just be the best movie of the year.
Yeah.
And it is. And it will always be this year. What?
Henry says that the worst bit was the combat chant scene where they're all like pounding the desk. You know, I'll say this.
You know what?
It could have been tackier. I felt like that they took the audio out. They let it just kind of like everyone's like punching the desk and then they all kind of get into it. I agree with you though. That is definitely, it could have been cringy. They executed it well. I just feel like
I didn't get cringed out at all during any of the movies.
See,
I was loving it.
it's just,
I
think-
just got into it.
because here's the thing is that I
Yeah.
think the combat scene that he's talking about,
Yeah.
that he's referring to, is just after, and again, spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, you probably shouldn't be watching this podcast because I know our listeners probably went for opening weekend because they're one of
fans.
us.
Yeah,
they're one of us.
Yeah.
But they go from the combat chant into the I don't want to lose my I don't want to lose my mind song, and then that's where the montage kicks off where they're like, and there goes Sonny Hayes, and it's the song that's
Yeah.
like built into the Hans Zimmer theme. Oh my gosh, the energy in that moment, it was so cool because I felt like it was great to see this montage of F1 racing that we've seen. And to see these moments like replayed on cinema, like big screen, so much surround sound and awesomeness, it'd be like, oh, I remember that happening at Monza. Oh, I remember when they went to Hungary and Pierre got booted, or Ocon did at the first corner.
Because you explained to me, and I guess I didn't get this. They took actual race incidents.
Yeah.
And they AI mapped, CGI'd,
And they
Brad
put the
Pitt's
car over
in
it.
part of it,
Right.
which is wild.
And it looks so believable the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, there because some of those crashes, I was like, that happened.
Yeah.
And it did.
It did.
Yeah, they just put in Brad Pitt's car in the middle of it, and it
Right.
was so cool.
And here's what I felt like when I walked out of that movie is if you're looking for incredible motorsport story, like a movie that you just like when you're done with, you're like, wow, that was like inspiring and like great to watch. Rush is an incredible F1 movie.
Well, like true stories are like very inspirational.
Right.
Rush, Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Ford v Ferrari, incredible story. Execution is top notch. It's unbelievable era too. We're talking about how cool is fashion and how dangerous F1 was and how dangerous racing was in Le Mans in that era.
Yeah.
Hard to compare those movies to this one in the sense of like, yeah, the eras are different too.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about just like the most visceral, real feeling of being in an F1 car, this movie freaking nails it.
Better than anything.
Better than anything I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I felt like that was the reason that I was just jazzed. I was
Yeah.
sitting there just going, this is so dope.
It is so cool.
It's so dope.
Yeah, you're trying to compare this movie to Rush or to Ford v Ferrari. It's hard. Like those are based on true events,
Right. And
You
the
can't-
script
you
writing
can't
is
beat that.
phenomenal
Yeah.
too. And you
It's-
have great acting.
It's
and
almost
just-
like comparing, the movie Miracle with Kurt Russell about the hockey team.
right.
It's like comparing that to Mighty Ducks.
That's not
Kind of. It's like
what you're
one-
saying. You're saying Brad Pitt walks into this movie and goes, knuckle puck time.
Cake eater. That's what his rival was calling him, cake eater.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
But in the sense of like, one is a fake story that's
Right,
just hyping
right.
up the sport, and one is a true story telling a historical moment.
Gotcha.
And it's like,
yeah.
so there's different sentiments.
Totally. Yeah, I think that that's a fair assessment too.
But man, yeah, it gets you right into the speed, better than anything I've ever seen on screen before. The opening.
that opening
whole
sequence
thing.
is so great.
With the Led Zeppelin song, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, and he's like getting ready and walking out, and you're just like, oh, we're at Daytona,
Right.
And then he gets in the car and it's just blitzing around that
Yeah.
track, and the fireworks are going off. I'm like, yes,
They hammed up the fireworks, and I genuinely was like, I saw it in the trailer where there's like fireworks kind of like dropping on the cars, and I was like, okay, guys. And then in the theater, I was like, this is so dope.
This is cool.
It's so dope.
because like you and I went to Daytona,
Yeah.
and it's 24 hours.
It's such
If
a
you
long
had to
race.
combine 24
It's so
hours
dope.
of what that race is and feels like into
Yeah.
a 4-minute sequence, they did it.
They did it.
Yeah,
And
because there's fireworks. It's nighttime. The brakes, when he slams on the brakes,
Yeah.
and they like light up red hot orange.
Yeah.
I was like, that was my experience.
Yeah.
That's what made me lose my mind at the race, is because the brakes are so hot. You can see them at night just glowing.
so cool.
Yeah,
And I felt like and they did such a good job of involving all of motorsport, which is something that like this podcast is built on.
yeah,
It's like, yes, we're the fast ones. We love F1. But every week we can't help but talk about what's cool in the motorsport world.
yeah.
And they start at Daytona, and you hear Lee Diffie, who's the Australian announcer that I talked about that moved over to IndyCar, or moved over to NASCAR on NBC. It was great to see him. And then Pat Long, and Pat is Patrick Long was a racer for Porsche. He's a factory Porsche race car driver from here in the States, from the same town I grew up in. And Pat founded Luftgekühlt, which is like that air-cooled Porsche event. That's like the coolest freaking car show in the world.
Yeah.
Where they've taken over the Universal back lot, and they've closed down all sorts of cool facilities to put old, awesome Porsche heritage cars in.
Yeah.
Pat is one of the race car drivers in that opening sequence. That
Cool little
he jumps
cameo.
out of the car and talks to Brad as Brad gets in, and then he's sitting up on the bench watching the race as Brad's out there. But they did such a good job of being immersed into motorsport.
Yeah.
Beyond just F1, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was such like a high five to everybody who is a fan that's going to see this movie, just beyond being like the new fan. That like it's such a cool opportunity to have a conversation with someone new.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when they're talking about Sonny Hayes and his career, I think there's a moment where some broadcasters like talking about it. It does like, Formula One, and then into Le Mans, and then into like the Dakar, and then,
Right.
And you're like, oh yeah, we're getting little shout outs to all the different races.
Right.
And Sonny's career in the movie goes from in like endurance racing to Formula One. Then he's like doing the Baja. So it's like,
Right.
He just wants to drive.
He's a motorsport guy.
And motorsport is existing all around the world. Florida, all over F1, then back to Mexico, like
Right.
anywhere you want to go.
It's super cool. Henry, I see you. You are not wrong. It does stack up well to Babe 2, Pig in the City. But also, you're right. Kevin Magnussen was mentioned more than any other
was.
driver in
He
the
was.
movie.
For
and
Haas
it was
boys.
cracking me up. I was laughing so hard. And I love seeing Gunter. We still miss him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he was in the movie. But man, it was also like my K-Mag special edition Lego where I took the end plate off. They paid tribute to that exact thing in the movie. I don't know how many times. Plan C is actually Plan K-Mag.
Yeah,
In the
for
movie.
sure.
It's so good.
Haas fans really had a great movie to watch.
Oh, they had him racing Haas the whole movie.
It was great.
It was cracking me
So
up.
good. Okay, what I've been wanting to talk about with this movie,
Yes.
goes back to the soundtrack.
Yes.
My favorite song. We've already talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Bad as I used to be.
Bad as I Used to Be.
So good.
Oh my gosh, I think so. I was thinking about it all weekend. That song and that sequence when Brad Pitt comes, the old man,
Right.
and he's able to get in the car and whip it around the track, and then he crashes it, but is able to get across the line just in time to like get on the team.
Yeah.
I was like, this movie nailed its demographic perfectly.
Totally.
Because we're all a bunch of 30-year-old, 40-year-old dudes
Yeah.
who have like at some moment had a dream that didn't work out.
Right.
Or we're feeling like we have a family or we don't have a job that we like or whatever.
Yeah.
And are we cool?
Yeah.
And then this song comes on. I'm still as bad as I used to be.
Yeah, you're like, hell yeah, I'm cool.
If you gave me a car, I'd drive it around the track.
Hell yeah, I'm cool. I don't listen to Journey.
Yeah. Come on. Stuff you. Well,
That one was for you, Henry.
I'm taking this home. This isn't decoration anymore. I'm taking this home.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm taking this home because, ladies, if you see me pulling this out when you're at my house, you know I'm going to start revving some engines.
He's pulling out a vinyl for our listeners that aren't watching the podcast.
I'm pulling out the F1 soundtrack album and putting it on the record player because I'm setting the mood right. Gonna get your engine and my engine revving.
All right,
Heck yeah.
outside of the
real.
uncomfortable references.
But for real, I think they're like, and that was the whole thing of the whole movie. And it was so fun to see this character that you're like, oh, washed up, like he needs a redemption arc. And then he gets it. And then he just like goes off into the distance. He's like a cowboy.
Right.
Just walks off into the sunset and does his own
It
thing.
was a
I'm
very
just like,
Western take. Like
Oh my
show
gosh.
up, do the job, move on to the next job.
Yeah.
That's very Western style movie for sure. Like,
And so for
You know what I
every
mean?
every man watching that, I'm like, this movie was for me.
Yeah.
And I needed a movie. I
Yeah.
haven't had a movie for me
this is a great movie.
in years.
Totally. Well, and I feel like the other thing is too is like also I have to acknowledge that Kyle Marlin made a Days of Thunder 2 reference. I have a theory there that might be great. And yes, we do miss K-Mac. Days of Thunder 2. Okay.
I need to go watch Days of Thunder again. It made me want to go watch it again because it's great.
It's so good. But
Yeah. Days of Thunder 2. Weeks of Thunder.
they could have done a Blazing Saddle ending and literally drove into the sunset, is what Henry says. Yeah, that would have been great. But one of the things that I heard that I thought was really funny is Brad Pitt did an interview with Tom Clarkson
Okay.
for Beyond the Grid, which I thought was cool because like here we are.
Yeah.
We've had our opportunity now to release the movie. I want to hear some of his takes
Yeah.
and some of the things that he said.
The other option was to have another interview with Lance Stroll. And
Yeah.
we took it. We took the
Bradley Pitt sounded better. But it was cool to hear Brad's take on kind of like the pressure that he had because some of the stuff that they were doing, they were like, we only had 15 minutes before a race. And if I screwed up, we delayed the race.
Oh yeah, you don't want
And
to.
he's like, could you imagine how pissed we all would be if the production had gone over time and delayed Suzuka or Monza
Oh gosh,
we all would have raged. We would have been like,
Yeah.
this stupid movie, right?
That's true.
So Brad was like, the pressure was high.
Yeah,
Like, can't screw it up. And anyways, what I was building out here is that there was this like fan theory already of like Brad's looking for his next thing, so he's gonna go tackle NASCAR with Tom Cruise at Days of Thunder 2 as like a sequel for F1.
Oh, Sunny Haze.
Yeah, and we
No, dude,
we're all
Sunny
in for
Haze.
it. Let's just say that like that
he
might
need-
be corny, but I'm here for it. It's so great. It's such a good
Those
idea.
two worlds, because he's out finding the next driving gig.
Right.
Yeah,
He can't
Days
stay
of Thunder 2.
Yeah.
the worlds collide.
Yeah, give him the Hardy sponsor. Well, Cole Trickle has got Mellow Yellow, and let's go.
This is amazing. The Baja Blast car.
Yeah.
In NASCAR, not Mellow Yellow. It's Baja Blast this time.
Yeah, because
Mellow Yellow doesn't really
and
exist.
he drives for Haas.
Jeez, that's amazing. I was so worried that the success of this movie would be like a prequel.
Right.
And I'm like, please no. Because
Right.
there's a lot of fun mystery about Sunny Haze.
Right.
It's like, why does he never touch the trophy?
Right.
We don't know. Why does he like flip a card, put it in his pocket, and not look at it?
Yeah.
And what card was in his pocket? Because he looks at it and he's like, he kind of like smiles.
Yeah.
Like, there's these unanswered questions,
Was
and
it
we
a
don't
seven
need
of
a
spades? That's what's on his
Is it-
shoulder,
yeah,
right?
is
Like,
it?
you never know.
But like, we don't need another a Han Solo Star Wars movie explaining every little thing about Sunny Haze's
Right.
life
No,
that we
kinda-
don't need answers
Yeah,
to.
we kind of like this.
So that's the one I prefer.
Right. Yeah, because then the sequel really is F2, and we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't need slower cars.
Our friend Willie made that joke at the movie, and I laughed so hard. He's like, I can't wait for F2. It's going to be so much better than F1. Cracked me up. It was so funny.
Dang, Tom Cruise going against Brad Pitt in a NASCAR.
Well, it's just like now we've gotten Maverick, Top Gun, and F1, the movie, merged into one as well. So
Gosh,
a great joke. But
don't do this to me. Don't.
it's so good.
I did know that there were rumors of Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum doing Isle of Man movie,
yeah,
and I'm stoked about that.
that would be great.
So great.
And and because Brad really is into bikes, that has been his kind of thing
Yeah.
forever. So I'm sure he'd do that justice.
I don't know if you've been feeling the same way, but I all at once have a massive crush on Sunny Haze, and I want to be Sunny Haze.
I mean, who doesn't want to be Sunny Haze?
I have never.
Brad Pitt has always been Robert Redford. We've always wanted to be Robert
I
Redford.
told my mom the other movie. I'm like, he's like the Paul Newman of
Yeah,
our generation.
Paul Newman, Robert Redford,
Yeah.
the
Oh.
coolest guy.
And I was like, I don't think I've had a bigger crush on Brad Pitt after a movie. There's been, I mean,
And you
Snatch.
liked like Bullet Train and some of these
I
other
love
movies
it.
that
But
yeah.
like, I mean, some of my favorites are like Snatch.
Right.
If if Hoschap is listening, Snatch is amazing.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Ocean's 11.
Right.
Gosh,
Rusty. Promotions.
He's amazing. But
Right.
this one, I was like, wow, you just topped
Just
it.
a champ.
You're just a champ.
Yeah.
Just soft spoken. Talks when he needs to. Gets his point across. Dang, man.
Well, and so all right, so here's the thing that
Friggin' love that guy.
Here's something that I feel like you can understand and relate to that maybe was apparent to you.
Okay.
But again, like maybe it wasn't. But as an F1 fan,
Yeah.
again, watching this movie in another Drive to Survive type of way, what kind of conversations does it spring? I felt like the movie did such a good job of using things that have happened in real life and putting them into this story of Sonny Hayes versus Joshua Pierce. And
That's his name, JP.
JP, right? And like, you know, the car that bursts into flames and the survival of that. And these moments that are like Abu Dhabi kind of feels like the climax of this movie kind of reaches a point that kind of feels like the 2021 season.
Oh, totally.
There's so much of actual events that have fed into this. And then that actually brings me to my point. Did you know that the footage, not the onboard footage that they recreated for the movie, but the crash footage is real?
Of all the crashes?
No, sorry, and I'm prefacing this poorly. His young 1990 self with a camel car split in two with the driver laying on the track. That's real footage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's Martin Donnelly.
Oh, wow.
And he crashed during practice and fractured his spine
Oh.
and took a very long time to recover and then stayed involved in motorsport and racing after his recovery. but never to the degree that he once was.
Wow, I
But
didn't know that.
they used Martin Donnelly's footage and his story to kind of help build Sonny Hayes,
That's amazing.
which is so cool. And
So
they,
cool.
And then they fed Senna into it to try to be like this, like he's going for the pass on the greatest in the world, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when he stuffed it into the wall. So there's some over dramatizing
Yeah.
of the situation.
Yeah.
But that crash really did
That's
happen,
crazy.
and that footage of him laying on the track is real.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
And it
The
worked
depth
so
that this movie
well.
went to get accurate footage is wild.
And to feel like, okay, so now that you've seen the F1 movie, let's talk about it. This
Yeah.
really happened.
Uh-huh.
Look how cool this is. You should watch the races. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like what they did is they gave the fans
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to show people who aren't into the sport to be like, this is why I like it.
Yeah, give the fans a little bit of ammo,
Right.
to like get their friends in.
Totally.
That makes sense.
It's like a real good opportunity to convert your friends into
Uh-huh.
your favorite sport.
I mean, I had some coworkers that, we're talking about it, or like at the movie.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we're talking about all the drivers that were in it because my mom doesn't know anything, and so I was like, everyone that's basically not on Brad Pitt's racing team,
Right.
is a real person in the world.
Right,
There's
right.
a few people here and there that are actors, but everyone else is like commentators that are actual commentators, team principals, drivers. The dog is Roscoe.
Right.
It's Lewis Hamilton's pet dog.
So
It's like
good.
They did such a good job at everything, and yeah, that's fun.
And I thought that the other thing that's funny about that element is that the cameos that they got, I was actually so impressed. I was like, Toto, I know that this is so corny, but good job, dude.
Dude,
Like-
the best way to end the movie is him trying to get rid of George Russell still. Just like
You guys
he's like,
have no
I would,
idea how
he's like,
la-
I would
how
take
we
Joshua
laughed.
Pierce, the actor, over George Russell, please.
We were laughing so hard to ourselves. And I think that was also another part of the experience. Being a theater full of people that are cackling at the same things as soon as it was like, all he has to do is beat Lance Stroll to the pace car, to the safety car line. And we were like, well, this should be easy.
Yeah.
You just hear an eruption of weird chuckles around the auditorium.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
It was so good.
But just so much of that was also freaking great. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know
No,
where
it
to
was
go
great.
from there. But
I don't know where to go in my life from there. Because
It was great.
I don't think I'm gonna have a better experience at the theaters in a long time. But yeah, dude, it was fun. It was so good. And yeah, I went and started looking for watches that looked like Sonny Hayes' watch. I was like, look, I got a better watch. It's like, this watch doesn't look anything like Brad Pitt's watch. How do I beat Brad Pitt?
This is like everyone who's watching the movie when he drives away from Daytona and he's like, don't you want the watch? He's like, I already got one. I'm like, no, go get that watch.
No, because he doesn't care. That's how
No,
cool
Max,
this
it's
guy
a Rolex
is.
Daytona.
How cool this
I
guy
want that
is.
watch.
Everyone does.
I'm sure that
Brad
everyone's
Pitt is that cool.
anyone else who's sitting in the theater like me is like, well, can I have it, Dad? I mean,
where did it go?
don't give it to that
Don't
guy.
throw it away. I'll take it.
I mean, if it's up for grabs. Unfortunately, we weren't around when they shot that scene.
No.
If we were, I would have a Rolex Daytona on, but I do not.
So yeah,
Sadly.
it was crazy. It was good.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So, I mean,
holy cow!
I feel like part of the reason that I'm so stoked that it turned out to be a good film is because I genuinely am such a fan of F1. And to me, it's like, like what a deep breath. They
Yeah.
didn't embarrass us.
Yeah,
They didn't add fuel to the fire of the DTS haters.
no, yeah,
They did a really good job with something that should grow the sport even more.
yeah. I think it was a great snapshot of what F1 is like in this time period, like the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to, yeah, because all the drivers are in it, all the tracks are there, the drama. It's like it's a good perspective on what it was like.
Right.
So Lewis Hamilton, producer of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he helped write the movie or give ideas,
Yeah.
but I was thinking,
He's pretty involved from what I understood.
cool.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, so I like shifting paradigms. I think that there's so many people who always follow the same kind of strategy,
Right.
and they all get locked into it and they all just stick with that strategy. In the movie, Brad Pitt's character, Sonny Hayes, is trying to kind of break the paradigm. And the little strategies he comes up with are like a annoying little things to the rest of the grid, but it
Right.
helps and it works because no one's doing that.
Right, right.
He's just being a stinker on the track,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
works in his favor.
Right.
And I wonder if Lewis is like helping them write this movie, and they're like, Lewis, we need something. We need like a good thing for like, how is he gonna like
Based it on Fernando.
for real?
Right.
He's like,
Crashgate.
for real. He's like,
Right.
what have you seen, or have you ever thought of like, oh, why doesn't anyone do this?
Right, right,
Can
right.
we put that in the movie?
Right.
And I want to say that Lewis did. He's like, oh yeah, why doesn't the last person in last place
Right.
just take their time going around the track in the formation lap
Right, right.
and be there at the last second before they get like disqualified or whatever,
Right, right.
so their tires are warm?
Totally.
Or why don't they like fake a wing accident and help their teammate get more points because they're in last position anyway?
Right. And we've seen some of that gamesmanship
I know, Kevin
over the years.
Magnussen.
Yeah. Kevin Magnussen is the king of getting the points at the end of the day
Yeah.
so many times last year.
Uh-huh.
To that point too, I felt like, so one of the things that I do know that he did, and this is such a crazy thing. I know that as a fan, we all kind of would know some of these things, but he enhanced it. Like, again, I know too much. So even just saying that, like, Sonny Hayes shows up in the garage and he's just like, he's here to try us out and we're going to try him out. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do a seat fitting. And he just like climbs in and I'm like, I know too much. I'm going to write this one off.
You gotta,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm like, so, but it's a movie, right? So I'm like, okay, write that one off. Sorry, this is me being dumb. But like, but like the areas where they went so in depth is Lewis sat in a theater with them during, in some form or another, or an editing bay with 5.1 or 7.1 surround,
Yeah.
and sat there because they had to sound edit the entire movie. They had F2 cars.
Okay.
You guys might recognize when you watch the movie that they backfire when they shift. F1 cars don't backfire. And like F2 cars, I'm assuming, must have done that. Otherwise, it was a movie effect. But
Yeah.
they also don't sound like each other. So they had to re-sample F1 sounds.
Do all the audio, make sure the engine sounds
and
the
Lewis
same.
would sit there and watch him with it, watch the movie. And he's like, no, that was fourth gear. You'd be in fifth gear here. So we need to change the
crazy.
sound here. So
That detailed,
that
which is
detailed.
amazing.
And like he's like, when you're here on this track, you know, there's the walls right here, and you hear a certain reverb, so you need to boost it on the left and add more reverb. Like
Crazy.
So you like
So cool.
The
The detail.
again, the visceral experience of being in an F1 car. Like Lewis played a huge role, even just that side.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's so dope. It is so like it made the experience so good.
Yeah. Yeah. You forgive the stuff like seat fittings.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, you're going to watch a 30-minute montage of a seat fitting.
Right, exactly. It's like not necessary.
Yeah.
Not necessary. I agree.
I really did like the whole sequence of the technical engineer, right, redesigning and using a wind tunnel.
Right.
And I loved seeing like a cool wind tunnel.
Right.
Don't really get a lot of footage of that.
Yeah, and the Mac Studios with the freaking $5,000 display. So like Apple did a good job of making me want more Apple equipment.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm nerding out over here. I want all of this. It
It's
looks
so
rad.
cool.
Yeah.
But to see that whole design process and looking at like the computer footage and the data of where the air is flowing, and then like, yeah, the whole idea of like, oh, we're gonna try and design a new wing. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
A little bit of like inside look into how these engineers are working behind the scenes.
Right.
I also really like seeing the racing sims.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate those are. They
That's-
looked insane.
That was the Mercedes simulator.
That was the Mercedes.
That was their
simulator?
actual simulator.
Gosh.
It's so cool.
When in seeing that, I was like, oh, no wonder Haas can't afford this. Like,
Right. It's
gosh,
outrageous.
it's outrageous. Like full 360 sphere.
Right.
Like he's in this car. But it was cool to see that and to see him like training and being like, reset it. I want these conditions. Reset it. Reset
Right.
it. And I was like, I just pictured a PlayStation.
right.
And them
yeah.
doing it themselves. Restart
With
like,
Fanatec and like Thrustmaster or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, and from what I understood and what it sounded like Brad had said in the interview today, and I could be wrong, but I listened to it on purpose to kind of try to gather how they had executed some of this. But I think Williams was the wind tunnel, McLaren was obviously the HQ.
Yeah.
For Apex, and then I think the wind tunnel was Williams, and then
then
Mercedes was the simulator.
And the pit wall box was
yeah,
Haas.
yeah, totally.
The cheap little 3-person pit wall box. That was Haas.
And I just love that. I love their interaction with Gunther. It was
Yeah,
just so good.
It was good.
But yeah, so anyways, I'm like, but they did so good at that and showing us some of the stuff that I feel like Drive to Survive hasn't gotten access to, because they are a little afraid to show that stuff.
Yeah.
And the movie was like, okay, well, we're gonna like rip out these computers. We're gonna put in these fake screens to show some like, you know, CFD, which is computational fluid dynamics, which is that
Okay. The data showing
like the air going through
aerodynamics.
through the
cool.
car. Yeah. So like, you know, I think because they could fictionalize it, they probably were like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Bring in, it's a movie set at this
Yeah.
point, right? So, but it was so cool to see. They did great with that stuff.
I also like seeing the dynamic between the experienced driver and like the young cocky driver.
Right.
And I could definitely probably see that in a ton of the drivers on the grid. I wonder if Lewis saw himself in both.
Right.
Like I was at one point this stupid young driver thinking I was like the shiz.
Right.
And then I'm now the experienced driver being like, why?
Totally.
Don't mess with the team. Like let's work together.
Right.
Who was I talking with? Maybe it was my mom, but just this idea that like the Joshua Pierce, he couldn't admit that he was wrong
Right.
because he makes a mistake and he injures himself and he's out for a few races and he lies. He doesn't tell his mom that it was his decision. He lets her believe that it was Brad Pitt.
Right.
And I'm like, that's real.
For
that's
sure
the
real.
mindset of the champion.
Right.
You can't accept any blame.
There's no fault.
It's the other person.
Right.
Because if you do, then you are wrong and you are a loser and you're not going to win.
And you're Lando.
And you're ooh. Yeah.
But like, I actually, and again, like I feel like we're not even doing a great job of I like the other thing that I was gonna say is that I didn't feel like anyone did a bad job. The kid who plays Joshua Pierce is so good. Like I was like, man, I believed he was an F1 driver the whole movie without any hesitation. He was great.
Yeah.
I love the dude who plays Ruben. What is that
Yeah.
actor's name?
I don't know, but he's from Killing Eve.
Yeah, he's in everything now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, wasn't he No Country for Old Men? Wasn't that his breakout role as the bad guy from No Country for Old Men?
Oh, you're talking about Javier Bardem.
No, that's a different guy. Okay.
You're talking about
Yeah.
the team principal.
Yes.
The white hair guy.
Oh, yes. That's what I meant.
Oh, no, he's not an Old Country.
Oh,
Road, man.
no. Sorry, not that one. No, I'm talking about
Ruben, his
Ruben.
friend. Yeah.
his buddy.
Javier Bardem. Yeah, he is
yeah.
a No Country Old Man.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He's
Okay.
amazing.
He's awesome.
Unbelievable. Not the team principal, CEO.
CEO,
Yeah. Dude, that guy's unbelievable actor. He's great in everything.
Yeah.
He's in Dune.
Lisa Nagaib.
Yeah, he's in Dune. He's in No Country for Old Men. He's a bad guy in Skyfall, which is one of the
Yeah.
better James Bond films. But man, I felt like he crushed his role in this movie.
So good.
yeah. Anyways, everybody did well.
So after the movie, though, I did start trying to, work out
Yeah, totally.
like Brad Pitt does.
Yeah.
I tried.
Did you try a neck exercise on
I
the side
did
of the bed?
on the bed. Maybe we'll film after this. We can make a reel of me trying like on your couch or something. It's hard.
I
But-
believe it is.
But if I need to be called up as a reserve driver, I gotta get the neck strength.
You got to get there, man.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's my new workout
24
routine.
hours of lemons is coming.
And I know. And I
That
gotta
neck's
get
gotta be
the
strong.
tennis ball juggling. Gotta get the neck workout, and then I just gotta start running.
And you got to start throwing cards into a bowl across the room.
Yeah. I just gotta be aloof. I gotta move into a van.
Yeah.
And just start going from driving job to driving job.
I'm jealous, Max. I can't do that responsibly.
Yeah. I did try. It hurt.
That's so funny.
Cool.
To talk about a race that actually did happen this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's shifting gears.
Do you want to shift gears now?
Yeah, sure. How much time are we at right
That's
now?
a great question. I'm used to doing this on my iPad, admittedly, folks. So bear with me.
You started right at 10 almost.
47 minutes ago.
Cool. Any good questions in the chat before we move on to the Austrian Grand Prix?
I think the chat is still with us, but
Cool.
they have just been
Sweet. Okay.
hanging with us, apparently.
Well, interesting race.
It was an interesting race.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I felt like, so again, our typical race weekends, I felt like there was enough strategy and there was enough movement in this race for me to be like, I'm not bored or I'm not frustrated. Felt like there was good passing. I felt like the battle at the front was killer. Max getting taken out by Kimi was like both the best thing that's happened this year and like, crap, Kimi's out.
Yeah.
Not Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I also felt bad for Max because now I'm like, His championship is up in smoke.
Yeah.
This is going to be really hard for him to win this championship now. Mm-hmm. Lando and Oscar are just that much further ahead with a DNF.
Yeah. And it's too bad that the Red Bull Ring Max had a DNF.
And Yuki had a terrible race.
It's every race.
It's every race.
And we just don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
not
Red
even worth
Bull's-
talking about Red Bull number 2.
It sucks for them.
It's not Yuki's fault.
Yeah.
We all know this.
But like Liam Lawson had a crazy good race.
Yeah.
Maybe we put him back in the Red Bull seat and just see him fail again.
Yeah,
like
it's
it's the car.
It's the car.
We
Your
don't need
car
any-
sucks.
And we don't need to talk about it. We all know.
Right.
So we can talk about the Max and the Antonelli crash because a lot of people have been talking about it.
Right.
But first off, I just want to talk about Oscar and Lando.
Yes.
They had a crazy battle like the whole race.
It was great.
And I feel like Oscar just made a few mistakes. Like he should have passed Lando a few times.
Yes.
But
yes.
it was crazy that Franco Colapinto got in the way.
I was gonna say, I'm like, the only moment of the race that really made a determined, like,
Yeah.
what determined what the result was Franco
A
Colapinto.
guy lap behind,
Yeah.
trying to squeeze Oscar into like, was it a wall or just off the track?
It was just off. I think he was, and to his credit, the point was he had just been passed,
yeah,
and when you are passed by somebody like that, you would go to follow for a slipstream. And I think he had just been passed by Fernando.
yeah,
So Fernando stays his line, and he doesn't move over for like the corner yet. And I think he's probably trying to give Oscar a tow. That's Fernando's personality to be like, yeah, why not? You know, you're gonna lap me, but why don't go have a fight?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
let's go see a finish. You know, but Franco moves over to get the tow from Fernando without realizing Oscar's right there.
yeah.
And pushed him off the track. Oscar's line over the radio, everyone's talked about, is really funny, which was that Alpine still, you know, all these years later, still managed to find a way to F me over.
Yeah.
It was the most colorful he's ever been on the radio. But yeah, anyways, it's like I felt like that was the moment that Oscar really had no more juice in the tank. He had nothing left for him.
He did have a little pace then, and he was on his way to pass Lando.
Right.
And just kind of, lost it.
And ran out.
And Lando won the race.
Yeah.
Which was, crazy.
I mean, and like this is the race that Lando has always been good at. He's always been good at this track. He's had a lot of podiums here.
Okay.
And so I feel like it's not that surprising that he was like had the edge, but we'll have to see. I mean, is that indicative of, you know, momentum shifting in a different direction? I still don't think so.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Because Oscar won the last one.
Right.
And it's like week to week now. It's starting to feel like a really close battle.
Right.
What's next? It's Silverstone, right?
Right.
I want to say it's Silverstone.
Oh yeah, and Haas got points, Esteban.
Yes,
Good.
Haas got points.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
And I felt like that.
And Behrman was close.
Yeah. Also, Williams, what the freaking crap?
Both out.
And Carlos's car caught fire before the race even freaking started.
Yeah.
Like,
They were so good at the start of the year.
yeah, what happened?
We were all like, what? Vowels.
Yeah.
You're crushing it.
Yeah, he signs that new deal. He's like, extension till 2065.
And he's like, I'm going on vacation.
All right, everybody, just
I nailed it.
yes. And I just did see this, Henry, so thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. Gene Haas and Io Komatsu both got seat time in a Haas F1 car.
When did this happen?
This just happened because they're both going to be, or I don't know.
They're both driving in Silverstone
Gene,
for the team.
yes, yeah, having a week off. So Ollie, he decided that he wanted to experience summer as a teenager.
I mean, if anything has taught me anything, is you just need to play "Bad as I Used to Be" from the F1 soundtrack.
And Gene Haas is like, I'm just as bad as I used
And
to
around
be."
Silverstone, you'll crush it
Totally.
because it was at Silverstone that he does that.
Yeah. That whole sequence. Yep.
Shoot.
But yeah, Gene's going to drive at Goodwood. And the reason that he's going to drive at Goodwood is because, well, a couple of things, but also because he's the only sole owner of an F1 team. In
Good
the
for
sport,
him. Yeah,
which is rad.
and probably the last there will ever be.
Yeah. Keep it up,
Jeez.
Gene.
Yeah, you're our man.
The man.
You are holding it down for all of us, the true fans.
Yes. The true Haas fans, the Haas boys.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. That's cool.
Anyway, so they both got some seat time, which is rad.
That's rad.
Yeah, super cool to see that. But yeah, anyways, Haas points finish.
House
Williams
point finish.
blew up.
Hulk is doing great.
Hulk double points finish
Double
for
points.
Sauber.
Yeah, it was crazy. They're
Bortoletto.
stepping up. Do they have sponsors on their car yet?
No, just Drake.
No. He's with freaking Red Bull.
I know he's got two cars right now.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, Kendrick, can we just like put the Dodgers logo on one of the cars and it's just you? It's not even the Dodgers. It's just
Please.
Kendrick's logo is
Please.
LA now.
Red Bull released their Drake OVO line of merch. And like, I hate this.
Nothing like nailed the coffin shut for me on never buying Red Bull gear like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, done.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
But speaking of Red Bull, Max and Antonelli crashing together.
Yeah.
Antonelli crashed into Max, obviously.
Right.
I think people are saying it's obvious that this is evidence that Max is going to Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because he gets out of the car and
interesting.
he's like, future teammate,
Like,
we're chill.
it's all good, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to start this relationship off on a bad foot.
Yeah.
If it was George, I'd be livid.
That's a good point. I actually haven't even heard that rumor.
That was friend of the show, Ty.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it as kind of like if Max had run into Lewis
Yeah.
in his first season,
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Lewis would have been like, we're good. This bump.
Gentlemen.
I do think that there's some kind of like change of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
I know that like Max isn't an 8-time champion or a 7-time champion,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a little bit of that being like,
Max,
I am
you're-
the current world champion and everyone knows that you will be the next.
Yeah.
And so with that, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
You know, so I did see that a little, but I do think maybe there's something to it.
Yeah. He sees a future seat at Mercedes,
And he's like,
and he wants to start off this team with like a good
that's a good theory.
relationship.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, I'm down. Someone's saying something in the chat.
Oh yeah, Henry says that he will be, and yes, Silverstone is coming,
Yeah.
and that can only mean one thing. Henry Wallace will be attending, and we will have boots on the ground
Are we gonna get another
from our British
Oh
correspondent,
heck yeah! That makes me so excited.
Henry the Haschap Wallace.
Dude, he's getting big.
He's more famous than
He's
us.
more famous than us
by a long
And
shot.
so we're expecting some good content. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
It's
I
gonna be
love
awesome.
his reports from the field
Yeah.
at Silverstone.
I'm just waiting for another cover of This is one of my favorite moments from last year, so keep it coming, Henry.
Oh, for sure.
We're
That's
ready for some
exciting.
music.
That's exciting. Yeah. So Austrian Grand Prix. I think Oscar's still in the lead
Yes.
by just a little bit.
Yeah.
And Silverstone's
I believe
next.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I check it? Should we verify?
I think it is. Yeah.
The app for Formula One has changed significantly. I don't know if anyone's
I did notice
noticed.
that the UI has changed.
Yes.
As a UX designer, me and my
Quite a
team
lot.
were looking at the Formula One website. And that's when I discovered that Mercedes has a new line of merch with Adidas, and one of them is a little Newsies cap.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so cool. Then I saw a picture of George Russell wearing it, and I'm like, that is not cool. But Bottas wearing it, I was like, that is so cool.
It's just it's all in
Oh,
it's all in
gosh.
the dude who's wearing it,
Yeah.
right? It's like that's either so rad or
And I'm like, can I pull off a Newsies cap? Or what do you call it? What do you call those hats?
a derby.
A derby?
Is it a derby? I don't know.
Come on, Henry.
Henry,
Tell us about your culture.
Tell us about your
It's the Newsies
caps. We don't know about the caps.
But it looks cool.
Is George Russell also had a whinge this weekend? I can't even remember what he was whinging about,
Yeah.
but it was quite whingy.
Huh.
I felt like that was the other thing that I noticed about the movie that I couldn't help but notice the lack of George. This movie was predominantly a Mercedes movie, and it didn't seem to have a lot of George.
Yeah, that's true. And I like that Lewis made himself the last guy that they were battling with.
Yes.
He's like, it has to be me.
yes.
But
Which I thought
George,
was actually
George
good.
is on the podium at
Yes.
the very end.
Yes.
And it's very funny to see Brad Pitt kind of acting his heart out and trying to get the people around him to act their hearts out.
Right.
During that short little sequence when they're trying to hand him the trophy and he's like pointing at his buddy, like, no, hand it to him. And he's like,
Yeah.
cheer,
Yeah,
cheer.
yeah,
and
yeah,
George
yeah.
is just like,
He's like, hey.
and he's like, and Brad's like, cheer.
yeah.
This is our one shot.
Yeah.
We get one chance
Yeah.
at this podium. Cheer. See it in their face.
Yeah.
And Charles is just on the other side depressed because he just lost a championship. And they're like,
Yeah.
can you go out there and pretend you won?
Yeah, totally.
Thanks, buddy. That podium is great.
Yeah, it's a very realistically painful podium.
Cringy and sad at the same time. And
it's-
Brad Pitt's in the middle being great.
What we're saying is they executed the podium sequence perfectly. especially when George is on it.
Yeah, so good.
Yes. Henry says it's called a flat cap.
A flat cap.
Okay.
Oh, the old flat cap. Mercedes has a new flat cap in its merchandise department. that
Is
you
it a
can
flat cap
buy.
like is that like a Jackie Stewart type of cap?
It is very much Jackie Stewart.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Those are sweet.
It's so rad. It has
Yeah.
a little Mercedes emblem on it. I'm like, I think Mercedes is the only people that can pull this off. Maybe Aston Martin.
Yeah.
They seem very British royalty.
Yeah, but Mercedes like Sterling Moss era. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that and Jackie's, kind of he doesn't go that far back, but it does feel a bit like that early era of F1. So
Yeah.
and Mercedes was competing back then.
For sure.
So, but man, anyway,
It was a great week for motorsport.
great week.
We had a race and an amazing movie. I'm going to go see it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take Sam.
I've seen it twice. So
You saw it 1.5 times.
So yeah, should we talk?
I can tell the story from my side. Yeah. I arranged for all my friends for the podcast.
You're so mad at me about this.
Well, I'm not mad because the universe intervened. I bought tickets for all my friends, including Mike, and
Yes,
we were all
yes.
planning to go see it together.
You make it sound like this was I Venmo'd Max. He did not just.
well, I
the
arranged.
ticket.
It's like, hey, when are we going to see it as
Yes,
friends?
yes. You arranged.
And here's the party. We're all going to see it. And then like the day before, he's like, I went and saw it. And then the movie, I was like, are you still coming to the movie? And you're like, oh yeah, I already got tickets and we had to go and see. Was it Friday in the afternoon you went and see it, or Thursday?
Thursday afternoon.
Thursday afternoon. You're like, oh, I had a chance to go see it. And I went and saw it.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes in, the power went out.
Yes.
And I wasn't able to finish. And I was like, that's right.
It-
if you go behind my back,
You
and try and
guys-
sneak it without me,
You guys.
the F1 gods and best friends gods will stop you from making a mistake.
You guys have no idea how annoyed I was. The power went out. Is like it's when they refused to put the tires on that he requested in Hungary. It was
Oh,
like
that's
the
the
very
moment?
beginning of that sequence, and they put the car down and he won't go anywhere, and the power went out, and I was like, oh, this was just getting good.
yeah.
And then we're sitting there for a second, and I'm like, lights are kind of flickering, and I'm like, don't tell me the power went out. And some little annoying movie employee walks in, and he's like, we have to evacuate the theater. Everybody
yeah.
file out, please. And I wanted to be like, listen, kid, I'm gonna sit here until you turn that back on and finish the movie.
See, no, it's like I don't have any sympathy because
Yeah.
I would have been way more annoyed if you had seen the whole movie. Then you show up, you're like, I already saw it. And it's like, what?
So well, I had to then
So
make.
I'm just saying, everything is square.
Oh, right, whatever. I went with you and my brother Johnny accompanied us.
Yeah.
But my wife couldn't come to that one, and so my wife and I went and saw it last night.
Oh, fun.
And so we went to a late showing, and she loved it. And the reason that I wanted her to see it is because I think the part of this experience is like I did see Top Gun Maverick at home, and part of what I feel like I missed out of in that experience was that it was like the story's kind of flat, and
Yeah.
the footage is amazing,
Yeah.
but the story's kind of flat. And I don't know if the F1 movie will feel like that at home. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I know what it feels like in the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I absolutely need for friends or family or anyone who I care about. I'm like, just go see it in the theater.
sure, go see it.
It's so good.
So fun.
It's so cool.
Do you remember when you went and saw Ferrari in the theater? Thinking it would be a fun car movie?
Yes.
And it was not.
Yes. I sat next to your dad in that movie.
Yeah.
And he fell asleep.
Yeah.
And you like woke him up and gave him some candy.
Yeah.
And it scared me. I was like, is he well? It scared
Well,
me
we
to
now know
death.
he might not have been.
He might not have been. But
And it's sad that he didn't see the right motorsport movie before he passed away.
That is true.
If
That
only
movie-
Ferrari came out this year and F1 came out years ago,
could have flipped that with
flipped it and sent him
stupid
off
writer
knowing
strike.
what motorsport movies should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We miss you, Matt. But
Yeah. His
anyway.
birthday was yesterday.
That's right. So happy birthday, Matt. Happy birthday, Max. Both
Oh,
of
thank
you
you.
guys have had birthdays in this
Yeah,
past
appreciate it.
week.
Yeah, Mike got me, and Parker and Kevin, friends of the show, got me this shirt.
And
from,
Trevor.
From Race Service, and Trevor.
Yes.
So I was very happy to open up that package. It also had a signed picture from Jason Statham in it,
Which we're still
which might have been signed by Parker.
not sure if it's actually signed by Jason Statham.
But I want to believe. I choose to believe.
Totally.
Okay. Well,
Any questions from the chat?
while we
People?
wait for questions, just want to say thanks to everyone who joined us for the show today. Please, continue to follow us Join us every week at this time, hopefully at the right time next week.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone. Like us, subscribe us, follow us. Yeah, and then tell all your friends. And then bring
tell your friends
on.
to go see the movie.
Tell your friends to go see the movie. Grab them and go see the movie.
And when they've got questions, you should tell them. Listen to Fast Ones. They've got the answers.
They've got the answers, and they now have the soundtrack to F1. And if you are single and you want to come to my apartment, you know what's going to be playing.
Willie just said, woo!
Is
So
Willie
we don't
on
have
board?
other questions, but we got Willie on board. Thanks for being here,
Oh,
Willie.
heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And he says, I'm going to subscribe yous. Thank you, Willie.
Thank you. We'll have the F1 soundtrack play us out. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.